The weakest link? People. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link is a good saying. In the case of cybersecurity, the weakest link is people. Even if all possible measures are taken, it is not possible to ensure cybersecurity permanently without minimizing human error. Humans are not like programmed machines. They can make mistakes due to a lack of information and can be deceived by exploiting their material and moral weaknesses. Experienced individuals can use social engineering techniques to deceive people and obtain important password information. Even if the passwords of only one person in an organization are compromised, this can cause significant damage. To strengthen the weakest link, it is necessary to increase the people's level of knowledge about cybersecurity and make them realize that seemingly small mistakes can lead to enormous cybersecurity threats. Cyber Awareness for All is an awareness-raising training program designed for this purpose and is not overly technical. If you encourage everyone you know, both young and old, to take this training, you will be doing them a favor. Cybersecurity starts with physical security. One of the most fundamental principles of cybersecurity is that it starts with physical security. In this section, we will examine security vulnerabilities from the security guard at a company's entrance to the photocopying room where access isn't controlled. An identity control system is a must. All facilities should have an identity control system that limits physical access by personnel according to business needs and records all entries and exits. From system rooms to photocopying rooms, uncontrolled access to locations containing both digital and printed information and documents should be prevented. Appropriate solutions can range from magnetic card readers to encrypted locking systems. In critical locations, security solutions that use fingerprints, facial recognition, or eye scanning techniques are always preferable. Access cards of employees who leave the company should be revoked, and all access credentials should be deleted immediately. Detect, question, report. Let's imagine a person walking up to us outside the building while we're on a break and jumping into the conversation by saying that they just started working there. This person might say they forgot their access card on their desk and ask to be let in. Should we automatically believe them and let them inside? Of course not. In such cases, we should be skeptical, question their motivations, and report them to the authorities with a view to preventing potentially malicious individuals from entering company premises. Similarly, we should always report suspicious individuals who we see at the company to the relevant authorities as quickly as possible. Visitors must be accompanied. Records of identity, accompaniment, and entry-exit times must be kept for anyone who visits the facility. Visitors must not be allowed in the facility without being accompanied. An identity control system must be in place to restrict the physical access of visitors according to business needs and in order to record their entry-exit times. Camera systems must be employed. Entries and exits, the building perimeter, the system room, corridors, and all other secure areas must be constantly monitored and recorded by a camera system. Only authorized personnel should have access to video recordings, which should be stored in a secure environment for a set period of time based on information security requirements. Access to camera systems should only be available through the local area network, while access from external networks should be rendered impossible. Environmental conditions in system rooms must be closely monitored. Environmental conditions in system rooms are vital for system security and cybersecurity. These rooms should have reliable systems for detecting and controlling water, electricity, humidity, temperature, and smoke. Unused network connection points should be kept closed. System and network administrators, beware. One of the possible entry points into your network is the network sockets on the walls. If these sockets aren't in use, the switch ports to which they are connected should be kept closed. There are numerous examples of successful attempts to infiltrate companies because this warning was not heeded. Clean desk policy. Even today, many computer users still write down their passwords, from their login passwords to their email passwords, on pieces of paper and stick them on their monitors. There are also many people who leave sensitive personal or company documents on their desks. In this section, we will discuss how dangerous such behavior can be. Keep your desk secure. An important security precaution is the clean desk principle, which dictates that important documents should never be kept on one's desk when not in use. Such documents should always be kept in locked drawers with the keys securely stored and returned to a main storage archive when no longer needed, or disposed of altogether with the use of a paper shredder. Important documents should not be printed or copied unless necessary. When they are copied, due care should be taken not to leave them unattended in a photocopier or printer. If these precautions aren't taken, a stranger or supplier entering the office can easily access them, and visitors can become privy to information that they should not know. Store your passwords in a safe. We use many passwords in business, from computer login passwords to corporate email passwords. Writing and storing passwords in a notebook or in a computer file that can be easily opened is a common but highly risky solution. One of the safest solutions in this regard is to store your passwords using reliable software developed specifically for the purpose. There are both free and paid versions of such password vaults, but it's best to use those that are considered the most reliable and which have received the highest ratings from users. Safely store portable USB drives. Many businesses restrict the use of portable USB drives due to the significant potential for malware. However, some organizations still use them to transport large files and documents. If you use USB flash drives with company information on them, you should never leave them on your desk for long periods or plugged into your computer. Rather, you should immediately store them in a locked location as soon as you are done using them. Clean Screen Policy. An important security precaution is the Clean Screen Policy, which dictates that your computer screen should always be turned off when you're not at your desk and should require a password to be turned on again. If you don't lock your screen when you leave your desk, someone else can potentially access your files and the confidential documents contained therein. Always lock your computer. If you have to leave your desk even for a short time, you should always lock your computer. Otherwise, someone else might access your emails, files, and other important information, thus posing a threat to both you and the company. Some organizations stress the importance of this particular issue by penalizing those who fail to lock their computers, by, for example, making them buy meals for other employees. If you want to prevent unwanted access to company information and avoid such penalties, never forget to press the Windows key plus L combination whenever you leave your desk. Use a screensaver. Let's say you leave your desk in an emergency and forget to lock your computer, as we have just mentioned. As an added security measure, you can set a screensaver to activate automatically. With a simple setting, which you can enable yourself or have your IT department enable, you can ensure that the screensaver will initiate automatically if your computer remains inactive for a certain period of time. The screensaver will remain activated until your computer login password is entered. Turn your computer off at the end of each working day. Many employees leave work at the end of their shift by turning off their computer monitor or, if it's a laptop, simply closing the lid. Although a login password or screensaver will provide some protection in this case, it's much safer to completely shut down the operating system before leaving the workplace. This will prevent applications that are accidentally left open from being remotely infiltrated and/or malicious software from running. Passwords must be secure. We use passwords at the office, for banking transactions, to access social media and e-commerce sites, and for many other digital transactions. Simple passwords that are used for multiple accounts are one of the main factors that jeopardize our cybersecurity. Simple rules for setting a formidable password. Attackers most often use trial and error to crack passwords. There are special software programs that automatically try words from the dictionary, frequently used passwords, and other combinations if the first two approaches fail. You should be aware that simple passwords like 123456 or ABC123 can be cracked by these programs within seconds. That's why the passwords you use to protect yourself from such attacks should be as formidable as possible. For a strong password, you should use at least 10 characters. consisting of both uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. As the length of the password increases, its formidability increases exponentially. According to this basic logic, a 10-character password will be much harder to crack than an 8-character password of the same format. And remember, never use your name or birth date when setting your passwords. Use a password only for a single platform. Using different passwords for different websites and applications is a very important security measure. No matter how strong your password is, if you use a single password for multiple platforms and one of those platforms is hacked, that single password will also be compromised. Attackers can then use that password to take over all your other accounts as well. Strong but easy to remember passwords. By splitting the password setting stage into 2 steps, it becomes possible to create secure but easy to remember passwords that are different for every platform. 1. Establish part of your passwords that will not change. Think of an old saying, song lyric, or other phrase which also includes a number. Take the first letters and numbers of the first 3 or 4 words of that phrase. For example, take the phrase, "There are 6 ways to Sunday." By capitalizing the initial letters T, A, 6, W, T, S, you've created the permanent part of your passwords. You can set all your subsequent passwords on this basis. 2. Make the password unique. Take the first 3 letters of the website or application you want to use the password for, write the letters that come right after those letters in the alphabet, and include a special character, like a / right at the beginning. Write all the letters in lowercase. When you add this variable part to the fixed part of the password that you established above, you've set the formula for creating a platform-specific password. For example, your password for Facebook would be TA6WTS /GBD, while for Twitter, it would be TA6WTS /UXJ. In this regard, it's also safe to use a password vault to generate stronger and randomly generated passwords which you won't have to devote to memory as they're stored in a vault. Changing passwords regularly is another helpful security measure. Strong protection is provided when a completely different password is generated each time by using a reliable password vault. Multi-factor authentication. Even if you use strong and unique passwords, they can still fall into the wrong hands if the websites or applications you access are hacked. Setting up another layer of authentication, in addition to username and password verification, will ensure that you're not susceptible to this risk. You can use a device, such as a smartphone, for this additional layer of protection. For example, sending a one-time password to your smartphone via SMS, or push notification after you enter your username password for the second verification is widely used in digital banking transactions. Multi-factor authentication, whenever possible, is generally preferable for all kinds of applications. Most e-commerce, social media, and business applications have the option to use multi-factor authentication, which can be easily enabled. Don't share your passwords with anyone. Never share your login credentials or your passwords for corporate or personal application accounts with others, no matter what. If they need to access your account, they can access it with you standing next to them or via remote access to perform the needed verifications. But they must never, ever be allowed to obtain your credentials and passwords. Beware of portable USB drives. What would you do if you found a USB flash drive on your office desk that looked like it was from Netflix, allowing you to watch Netflix for free for 3 months? Would you pick up a flash drive that you found lying on the ground in the company parking lot and plug it into your computer? Attackers can try to infiltrate companies by using USB flash drives. If company employees insert USB flash drives that have been sent to them into a company computer, you can assume that the infiltration attempt stands a good chance of success. You should never plug USB flash drives that have been found this way into a company computer or your personal computer. To prevent others from falling into this trap, you should immediately report this to your superiors. The IT team may need to examine the flash drive. If not, it's best to destroy it or simply throw it away. Many companies prohibit the use of USB flash drives due to the potential hazards. Flash drives given as gifts can be dangerous. Companies often give away flash drives imprinted with their logos at special events. Although it's unlikely that malware was intentionally installed on such gifts, attackers may have somehow accessed these flash drives and done so. To stay on the safe side, avoid using flash drives that you didn't purchase yourself. Social engineering attacks. Phishing. One of the most common methods used to steal identity and account information through the internet is social engineering attacks. Social engineering attacks, also called phishing, typically exploit material and moral vulnerabilities such as fear and panic. Phishing via email, websites, and SMS messaging. The most common platforms used by attackers for phishing include email, websites, and SMS messaging. Attackers typically send fake emails disguised as a trusted brand or organization. These fake emails may demand money or other things from you through threats and extortion, contain malicious files, redirect you to a fake website, and infect your device with malware, or try to obtain your personal information such as bank account numbers, card details, and passwords. If you click on an ad during the Black Friday discount period, you may be redirected to a fake e-commerce website. If you select a product and proceed to the payment phase, you may inadvertently reveal your credit card details. Similarly, instead of being redirected to your own bank's website, you may be redirected to another website, which looks very similar, and get your account credentials stolen. You should always pay attention to the information in the URL address bar of the websites you access. If the address is too long, or if it contains special characters other than numbers and digits, it's probably a trap. If the address starts with HTTP and not HTTPS, it isn't a secure website and you shouldn't provide it with any personal information, nor should you download any files from it. If you have the slightest suspicion, you should take a photo of the screen showing the website address, close the page immediately, and inform the relevant people in your organization. Malware can be found in all types of documents. You should never assume that documents with .xls, .docx, and .pdf extensions are safe. When you open documents that contain malware, you may see a warning that you should enable macros. In such cases, you should never enable them. If you do, the damage to your system will be much more extensive. Even if the sender of an email or SMS appears to be a brand or person you know, you shouldn't download or open the files, click on the links, or follow any instructions contained in the message without first contacting the person by phone or through another communication channel. Phishing via social media. Don't click on social media ads such as vacation sweepstakes, car sweepstakes, etc. that offer free gifts or loans at favorable rates, and don't download the applications they lead you to. After taking a few steps, you will likely be asked for money or personal information. You shouldn't give your ID number or credit card information to anyone, no matter who they are. You should make sure that personal information on your social media accounts can be seen only by your friends and not by the general public. Otherwise, you're more likely to become a target of phishing attacks. Which information in your profile can be seen and by whom is usually set in the privacy settings. Therefore, you should check the privacy settings of all your social media accounts. People are often deceived by fraudulent messages sent to the friends list of a compromised social media account. Since their accounts may have been compromised, you shouldn't click on links or files, even if coming from your friends, and you shouldn't send them money if they request it. For example, you shouldn't trust "I need money" messages sent from a friend's account, and shouldn't rashly send money to the account number provided. First, you should contact your friend through another channel and confirm the request really comes from them. You shouldn't accept friend requests on social media platforms from people you don't know. You should assume that your social media accounts can be hijacked by hackers and assess the information you share accordingly. What's more, you should never share sensitive or potentially damaging information on your social media accounts, even if it's only among a close circle of friends. Phishing by phone or face-to-face. Attackers and scammers may try to intimidate you, gain your trust, obtain your personal information, and get you to comply with their demands either over the phone or in person. Attackers may pose as government officials, such as judges or police officers, people who can exert pressure on you, such as bankers, insurers, or lawyers, or people who you would otherwise trust, such as friends or relatives. They can try to instill panic and confusion and force you to act without thinking. In this way, they can take over your account and obtain password information. They can exert pressure on you by acting in an authoritarian or angry way and try to force you to do what they want through intimidation. They may call you under the name of a trusted institution, such as a bank or a telecom provider. They can tell you that a suspicious transaction has been made from your account or that you have failed to pay a bill. Then they can ask you to transfer money to a specified account or share personal information, such as your password. When communicating with people whose identity you are unsure of, you shouldn't panic. You should never share personal information or banking details. You should never allow them to use your computer or cell phone. You shouldn't take any action without first verifying the accuracy of the claims and/or requests being made. Malware. Malware typically infects devices via email attachments, free software downloaded from the internet, and files contained on USB flash drives. Malware that attempts to infiltrate from within, like a Trojan horse, can perform all sorts of devious operations without you even noticing once it's installed on your device. For example, it can send information to hackers from the keys you press on your keyboard to images from your webcam. It can encrypt all the data on your device and then demand a ransom, usually in Bitcoin, to decrypt it again. It can even spread from one device to another, including network servers, wreaking untold damage. Only use fully licensed software. We use software for various tasks, from writing texts to preparing presentations to editing images and videos. Most of this software is fully licensed and paid for, but some people try to use this software by cracking it to avoid paying money for it. These cracking attempts, however, can easily infect your computer with malware. For your own security, therefore, it's always preferable to use fully licensed software. If you don't have the budget for licensed software, you can opt for free software that will get the job done, even if it doesn't have the same range of features as its licensed counterpart. With a little online research, you can usually find these free equivalents. But be warned, we're not talking about software that's free because the license has been cracked, but software that's actually free from the outset. Pay attention to websites from which you download software. You should always pay attention to the websites from which you download free software. Some hackers insert malicious codes into free software and then open counterfeit download sites. If you download free software from such a website, your computer may become vulnerable to attacks post-installation. For this reason, you should always download free software from authentic download sites. Use a firewall. Firewalls are one of the most important components for securing your internet traffic. Firewalls are applications that protect your systems from online attack that would otherwise target your computer or network. The use of firewall devices and software plays an important role in ensuring the overall security of private and corporate networks. Use endpoint protection software. Antivirus or endpoint protection software has the ability to block cyber threats that can penetrate firewalls and breach your devices. This software also monitors your internet traffic and provides protection from malware and network attacks. In addition to using firewall devices, which are essential for modern businesses, you should also install antivirus software on every computer within your network. Using a firewall in tandem with antivirus software constitutes the first and second lines of defense against ubiquitous threats posed by malware. All software should be kept fully updated. Vulnerabilities occur in almost every version of PC and mobile operating systems. For this reason, the operating systems of your devices should always be kept fully up to date. You should accept and install any updates for your device as soon as they become available. Along with having an updated operating system, you should also update whatever applications you use. An outdated application can cause your device to be hijacked by hackers and your data to be leaked online. Firewalls and antivirus software in particular should always be kept fully up to date. Use the principle of least privilege. In order to use corporate applications, users are assigned accounts, each of which is authorized to perform particular actions in the application. To prevent devices that have been infected with malware or compromised by hackers from damaging other devices and servers, users should be given only those privileges needed for them to complete their tasks. If a user does not need an access right, the user should not have that right. Backing up data. Important data must be backed up. From important work-related files on your computers to the contacts on your mobile phones to photos and videos of our loved ones, we must be sure to back up regularly to avoid losing our valuable data. Backing up data is an essential process that should not be neglected. Back up the data on your mobile device. You should definitely back up all your phone's contacts, photos, and videos, along with the notes you take and other important data. There are numerous free and paid solutions for this. If your data is valuable to you, you can use cloud-based solutions that provide high storage space in return for reasonable monthly fees. If your device malfunctions or is lost or stolen, if you have to delete data before handing your device over to an authorized service, or if your data is encrypted due to malware, you can always restore it from the cloud. Back up the data on your computer. Just as you back up important data on your phone, you should also back up important files stored on your computer. Back up your server's databases. The databases on your organization's servers must also be backed up regularly. Otherwise, the risk of losing critical corporate data, including customer data and accounting data, due to a server failure or a cyber attack can cause irreparable damage. In corporate environments, it may be necessary to back up not only data, but also the entire server, including both software and the operating system. In this case, it may be necessary to use larger capacity private backup solutions able to back up multiple servers instead of more economical cloud solutions. Choose a solution that won't be affected by ransomware. If you become infected with a ransomware virus, the files on your device will be encrypted, and you won't be able to access them. If your backup solution only keeps the most recent version of your files, you could end up facing serious problems. In this case, if encrypted files on your device are also backed up, these backup files too will become encrypted since the previous files will be deleted. Therefore, it won't be possible to retrieve the files in the backup system in their pre-attack state. To avoid such a situation, your backup solution should store not only the most recent version of the files, but their previous versions, up to a certain date as well. Corporate data backups should be kept in-country. Where your data resides can have legal ramifications. If you use cloud solutions to back up your corporate data, this should be done at a data center located in the country in which your business is based. Perform frequent and regular backups. Whatever backup solution you use, be sure to back up frequently and regularly. Otherwise, in case you need to restore backed up data, you will have old versions. Always check your backups. If one day you need to restore files you've already backed up, you don't want any surprises. Files you thought were backed up may not have been backed up at all. Backups may not have been kept after a certain date because your quota was full, or you may encounter problems restoring them because backups have been corrupted. Therefore, you should always check the condition and currency of your backups by restoring them on a regular basis. Mobile device security. Mobile devices, especially smartphones and tablets, are an important part of our lives. We can't do without them, neither at home nor at work. Therefore, mobile device security is just as important as computer security. Guideline for clean mobile screens. All the security factors we've explained for computers are also relevant to mobile devices. For example, setting up a screen lock for your mobile device is similar to locking your computer whenever you leave your desk, according to the clean screen principle we mentioned earlier. You should always enable a screen lock to protect your mobile device from being accessed by others when you're not using it. One of the many options available, such as fingerprint, pattern, PIN, or face recognition, should always be activated. Of course, when you set them, you should avoid setting simple patterns like Z or easy-to-guess pins like 1, 2, 3, 4, using endpoint protection software on mobile devices. To protect yourself from malware, you should use legitimate antivirus or endpoint protection software on your computer and your mobile devices. Some of the paid applications that can be purchased for a computer are also suitable for mobile devices at little or no additional cost. Be careful when downloading mobile apps. Before installing an application on your smartphone, check the developer from the App Store to make sure that it's an official developer. As a general rule of thumb, you should never install applications from unknown sources. When you install an application on your smartphone, take note of the permissions it requires from you. Don't install apps that unnecessarily demand access to your device's resources, such as location, microphone, camera, photo gallery, contacts, Bluetooth, etc., or that want to take control of your phone. Delete applications that you don't use. This way, your phone will consume fewer resources and reduce possible cyber risks. Also, it's a good idea to disable Bluetooth when it isn't in use. Ensure the physical security of your mobile devices. Enable the Find My Phone feature on the Android and iOS operating systems. That way, if you lose your phone, you can easily determine its location on the map. Don't charge your mobile devices at public charging stations, as your data can be stolen while your device is charging. Take your mobile devices with you in public areas rather than leaving them in unattended. It's important that electronic devices are repaired only at outlets officially authorized by the manufacturer. Many people who hand their devices over for repair without first setting them end up being victimized by malicious use of data. Devices to be sold or given to an authorized service center should be reset to the factory settings, while all applications and personal, corporate data should be deleted. The easiest way to do this is to completely reset it. You should back up the data before resetting it. Securing Wi-Fi networks. Public Wi-Fi networks can be dangerous. You should be very careful when using Wi-Fi networks in public areas. A hacker can obtain the passwords of all users on a public Wi-Fi network within seconds, or they can redirect you to fake websites and obtain sensitive personal information. It's very risky to share your personal data in such areas or connect to corporate networks. Instead, you should use your phone's cellular data line, especially for online shopping or banking transactions. If you have to connect your organization's network, you should secure your connection and take adequate precautions against hackers by using encrypted communication methods such as VPNs. Beware of the wireless network trap. Hackers can carry out phishing attacks easily on public Wi-Fi networks. Networks that allow connections without a password or security key or QR code are far more dangerous. Hackers intentionally leave their trap networks unprotected so that a lot of users can connect and fall into the trap. When connecting to public Wi-Fi networks, you shouldn't select the Connect Automatically option. Secure your own Wi-Fi network. 1. You can secure your wireless home or company network with a few simple steps. To do this, you must be able to access the administration page of your wireless modem and change its settings. You can find information and videos online on exactly how to do this. You can also find useful information on the website of your modem's manufacturer. If you can't do it yourself, be sure to ask a trusted person for help. 2. First of all, you should change the name of your wireless network. Otherwise, outsiders can figure out which modem brand and model is being used, and attacks can be launched through its known vulnerabilities. 3. Your wireless modem has an administration portal or application that can be accessed with a specific username and password. Therefore, you should change this information regularly and use a formidable password. Default username and password of the modems can be easily found on the internet, so if you don't change them, your modem can be easily compromised. 4. You should prevent the administration portal of your wireless modem from being accessed through the internet. 5. You should always install a firewall on your network. You can think of this as the door to your digital home. If there's no firewall on your network, the door will be open, and all devices on the network will be susceptible to online attacks. 6. If your wireless modem has a firewall feature, enable it. This way, hackers can't enter your network via the internet. 7. The security key required to connect to the wireless network must be strong. Therefore, set a strong key and don't even think about allowing access to your wireless network without a key. 8. It's vital that you keep your wireless modem software up to date. Security gaps in outdated software are easily remedied with the installation of new software. 9. Connecting guests' devices to your network can pose a threat. For example, if foreign devices are infected with malware, this can infect other devices on your network. To eliminate this risk, foreign devices should be connected to the guest network rather than the same network as your devices. This is easily done with a wireless modem that can set up a viable network for guests. 10. Turn off your wireless modem when it's not in use. This not only enhances security, but also stops unnecessary emissions of electromagnetic signals. Smart Home Device Security. Security measures for smart home devices. 1. You should only buy devices like robots, digital assistants, and heat and light control systems which you can connect to your home network from reliable brands. 2. When you buy a device for this purpose, read the safety information in the manual carefully. Find out if the device updates the software automatically. If it doesn't, this means that security vulnerabilities aren't fixed after you buy the device. 3. If the device has an administration portal or application, you should change the default username and password that came with the device. This way, you can prevent from others connecting to your home camera, for example. 4. Even if a device has the ability to connect to the network, you shouldn't connect to the network unless it is necessary. 5. Connect smart home devices to a different network than those used for important data-carrying devices, like computers. You can set up a guest network on your wireless modem and connect your smart home devices to it. Many modems have this feature. This way, if malware infects your refrigerator, for instance, it won't be able to reach your computer. 6. If you want to access devices on your network via the internet, you should always use a secure connection. Connecting to your network over the internet with a VPN solution is the most convenient way. All you need is a suitable modem. Remote work security. With the widespread adoption of remote work, the opportunities for attackers to penetrate company networks have also increased. Companies that allow employees to remotely access company networks without taking necessary security measures have suffered considerable losses. Only use company equipment. Only access company network with equipment given to you for remote work. Many companies provide employees with the necessary tools to securely connect to the company network. You should only connect to company network using equipment provided by your company, such as computers with antivirus software and secure remote connection software like VPN or Zero Trust Network Access. You should never connect to your company network without having established a secure remote connection. Use secure connections on public Wi-Fi networks. As we have seen previously, connecting to company networks from public networks is dangerous and can put the company's entire IT system at risk. Therefore, you should avoid such networks as much as possible. If you have to use a public Wi-Fi network at a cafe, restaurant, hotel to work remotely, you should always establish a secure connection. A secure connection can be established by using a VPN or Zero Trust Network Access solution. Use teleconferencing systems safely. An important element of remote work is online meetings. Teleconferencing systems are used to conduct audio-video meetings with multiple participants. If precautions aren't taken in these systems, outsiders can infiltrate corporate meetings. Instead of meeting rooms with fixed numbers or links, meeting rooms that change for every meeting are the most secure. People who learn the numbers of fixed meeting rooms or discover them through trial and error may attempt to join the meetings. Password access to meetings is an important security measure. Links and passwords to meeting rooms should only be sent to those who will be attending the meeting. This information should not be made available on the internet unless the meeting is intended for the general public. Meeting rooms should have a waiting room structure. Participants should be admitted into the waiting room first, and then hosts of the meeting should verify them and admit them into the meeting room. Only hosts of the meeting and those authorized by them should be able to share screens during the meetings. Screenshots of the meeting should not be recorded or shared online. If they must be shared, information such as meeting-specific links and room numbers should be removed from the image. Due attention should also be paid to the confidentiality of personal data. Such sharing without the permission of participants will not be in accordance with the law. Teleconferencing software should be kept up to date and all security vulnerabilities eliminated. Consult the IT department. Most corporate entities have IT departments. If you encounter a problem while working remotely, contact your company's IT department instead of trying to solve the problem yourself. They will directly connect to your computer and deal with the issue immediately. Be careful with Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP. Some companies use Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, to allow remote users to access applications on servers in the company's network. Many cyber attacks in recent years, however, have been carried out by exploiting the RDP protocol. For this reason, IT managers should not prefer to employ RDP. Instead, users should access the company network securely through a VPN or Zero Trust Network Access connection before accessing the servers. If you have to allow RDP connections from the internet, don't allow direct RDP access to servers from the internet. Use a proxy service in front of the RDP server that can authorize and validate connection requests. Only the accounts that you allow to connect remotely should be able to connect through the internet, and the passwords for these accounts should be very strong. If the devices that will connect remotely are fixed, only allow a connection from the IP addresses of these devices in the firewall settings. If you allow everyone to access your servers through the internet, hackers will quickly detect and attack them. Don't expose your databases to the internet. Some companies open their databases to the internet to let remote users access them. But databases opened directly to the internet without adequate security precautions are one of the most common targets of online attacks. For this reason, IT managers should never open databases to the internet directly. Instead, users should access the company network through a secure connection before accessing the databases. Why use a VPN? VPN connections, which encrypt the traffic passing through them to prevent it from being read by others, are generally used for the following purposes: entering prohibited websites, preventing the tracking of accessed websites, accessing a wider range of content offered by video platforms like Netflix in different countries, providing secure connections on public Wi-Fi networks, securing access to company networks. As with any application, there are several security issues to consider when employing VPNs. Which VPN is the most secure? Setting up and running a VPN server network is an expensive task. Anyone offering this service for free must have alternate sources of revenue, such as advertising revenue. In the digital world, advertising must be personalized, which requires personal data. If the VPN app constantly displays ads, there's a high probability that your connection data will be shared with third-party advertising platforms. Some free service providers use the processing power and internet speed of users' devices to pay for connections and reduce costs. So, a free VPN service probably monetizes your data or the resources made available by your device. VPN applications for which one pays a reasonable monthly fee is a far more viable and secure solution. Typically, the VPN or Zero Trust Network Access application you need to connect to your company network is already provided by your company. Note the permissions required by VPN applications. As mentioned earlier, you should always take heed of the access permissions required by the apps you download. If VPN applications demand access to resources they don't normally need, such as microphone, photo album, contacts, etc., you should be concerned about the possible presence of malware. Zero Trust Network Access is more secure than VPN. A VPN connection creates a secure tunnel between the user's device and the target network. The user can access the whole network when connected. Also, VPN access controls are mostly limited to account credentials like username and password, sometimes an additional one-time password. A relatively new approach called Zero Trust Network Access works with the principle of least privilege and performs extensive account controls with users' context and behavior analysis. Digital banking and payment security. Take the following precautions with digital banking and payment transactions. 1. Don't make your digital banking and payment transactions through publicly accessible networks or computers that aren't 100% safe. 2. Type the address of the bank or e-commerce website you want to access into the address bar of your browser yourself. If you click on a link that you find in an ad or email, you may be directed to a fake website. 3. Make sure your contact information is always up to date on your bank records so your bank can reach you in case of an emergency. 4. Ask your bank to notify you via SMS or other notifications whenever money leaves your account. 5. Ask your bank to send a password or notification to your phone so you can confirm money transfer from your account via the banking application or website. This way, even if someone hacks your online banking account, they'll still need your phone to transfer money. 6. Use 3D Secure for online payment transactions whenever possible. 7. Use the Secure Logout button to end your use of the banking application or website in the safest way possible. 8. Don't increase your credit card spending limits unless necessary. 9. Don't use real credit cards with high limits for online payments. Instead, use virtual credit cards with low limits. This way, even if your credit card information is stolen, the attacker won't be able to make major expenditures. 10. Disable your credit cards for overseas or mail order payments unless necessary. You can easily check and change these settings in your mobile banking application when necessary. 11. Regularly check your account activity and credit card spending. 12. As soon as you realize that a transaction has been made on your credit card or accounts without your knowledge, report the situation to your bank immediately. 13. When making transactions at ATMs, don't give your card and/or password to anyone, even bank personnel, and make sure no one else can see the screen. Personal data security. What is personal data? Nowadays, when data is more valuable than oil, personal data has become protected by law. Any information that can be used to identify a real person is referred to as personal data. Name, residence address, email address, telephone number, vehicle plate number, identification number, passport number, bank account number, curriculum vitae, photographs, images and voice recordings, biometric information, genetic information, and similar information are all considered personal data due to their inherent ability to make the person identifiable even indirectly. How should personal data be collected and processed? When personal data is collected, data subjects must be informed about who processes it, for what purpose it is being processed, and to whom and for what purpose it may be disclosed. Personal data cannot be collected, processed, or transferred without the explicit consent of the data subject, except in certain cases specified in the law. Collected personal data must be protected by technical and administrative measures provided for by the law, and it must be prevented from falling into the hands of unauthorized parties. In the event of a breach of data protection, it must be verified whether these measures were adequately taken. Pay attention to the documents you pass on. You should be very careful about the files you store on USB flash drives, attach to emails, or share with others. In fact, allowing unauthorized access to documents that contain personal information mostly constitutes a violation of the law. Don't access personal data if not relevant. If you access personal information that is not relevant to your job description and share it with others, you could face stiff penalties. With this in mind, never access personal information that you don't need for business purposes, and if it's sent to you, destroy it in accordance with the relevant legislation. Ends. End.